Hey folks, it's Friday video time. Today, I kind of whipped out a little song there, right? It comes out naturally by osmosis. So, today I'm going to talk about how to handle difficult questions. The ones that you can't or don't want to answer. Let me frame this one for you. As your business grows, as my business grows, as collectively we start to dominate the world with our creative heart, we're going to start to notice a lot of questions surfacing in our inbox, in real person, when we go to live events, when we go to a conference, when we go to a cocktail party, when we're on Twitter. We just get asked a lot of things because people get curious. People like to know the behind the scenes action that goes on in our studio, in our we're living interesting lives, so people get interested in us and in our daily routines. Some information we happily gonna share, some information we're happily gonna disclose in stories on our blog, on events, but some are just kind of uncomfortable to handle. So in today's video, I'm gonna give you five strategies that I honestly have to make up for myself because I'm not a good censorship human being. As you can probably tell, I have a really hard time keeping my mouth shut and keeping myself from spilling open and speaking my mind. I'm just not good with this whole mask wearing thing, but in most cases that works for my advantage because I live spontaneously, I live authentically, and I like living that way. But like I said before, this has given me a little bit of problem too, because sometimes this impulsiveness can be, we sometimes don't think about the repercussions of our actions. We sometimes don't pay close attention to we get fired up in the moment, we're excited in the moment, or sad in the moment, and being impulsive, we need to cool down. So today's strategies are all about teaching you how to handle, how to censor, or how to filter these difficult questions and how to handle them. So, the first tip that I have for you is to redefine the question. So deviate it a little bit, redefine it to make you feel more comfortable answering it. So let me give you an example of a perfect scenario where I would use this strategy. Let's say I'm at a big conference filled with strangers. Or let's say I'm being filmed on a TV show. Actually, the TV show where I do my DIY projects is filmed live. So anything that I do, it's being live. It can't be cut off. I need to be paying close attention to my reactions because there's nothing that they can cut off. Or edit out. So let's say someone calls in the show and asks a question along the lines of, Mayi, if you were given 24 hours to live, what would you do? Yikes. This is a hard one. This is a hard one to answer honestly because of all of the emotional repercussions that it involves. So if I would literally honestly answer this question, I would most likely cry. But a way that I could go about it is to add a little bit of humor. Say something along the lines of, I would eat a ton of cupcakes. I would grab my mom and kiss her so much that she's gonna hug me back. I'm gonna go to my grandmother's and run and eat all of her spaghettis. And then I'm gonna go to hubby and cook him the most delicious meal. I just noticed that I said food in my last three examples. Yes, I would eat a lot if I would given 24 hours to live. But here's the thing. A way that you can let yourself off the hook a little bit to release some of the tension and to release some of the emotion involved in such a loaded question is to use some humor, throw in some Joe Mama jokes there, and just, again, redefine the question in a way that you feel comfortable asking. And the person asking it will realize that they asked a lot and that that was the best shot. That was the best answer that you could give, being given those circumstances and being on the spot. So the second strategy that I have for you is to praise. This I use when the person asking the question is kind of a snob. It's kind of, they just want to show off their cleverness. They just want to give you a hard time. Have you ever encountered one of these questionees? You can just tell, right? You can just tell they're in it to like make you look ugly or make you look stupid. So what I do in these scenarios, when I know the person even knows the answer, I would say something like, great question, awesome question. And I would start throwing flowers, and my answer would be filled with praise to let them know that they're awesome, to let them know that they're beautiful, to let them know they're so clever. And they're going to be so distracted with their ego that they're not even going to realize that you shifted the question and answered it in the best of your abilities, and that they didn't ridicule you. And that's the most important thing, that you take control of the situation and that you give it your best shot. So, use praise when there's a snobby, kind of cocky douchebag at the other end. So, the third strategy that I have for you is to prephrase. Not prephrase, rephrase. I need to practice my grammar, folks. Is there anyone out there that can teach me how to speak English? Please. Call me up, send me an email. I'm interested, okay? Okay, so let me get back to today's video. You need to rephrase a question. This is kind of a politician type of move. This I do when, let me give you a scenario. Let's say I'm speaking at Blog World. I've never spoken at Blog World, but we're pretending, right? Hypothetically, I'm speaking at Blog World about how to start a blog. And I do a great speech and everyone is standing ovation. I love my examples. A standing ovation and everyone loves me and Mayi, you're the greatest. And then I open it up for questions and answers. And then someone asks a question that's completely off topic, that kind of throws me off guard. And what I would do in that scenario is that I would rephrase the question to make it fit into the topic, to make it fit into the agenda, so I can deliver value, I can deliver great content, I can still keep it within the bounds of everyone else listening in. They came to listen to me talk about blogging, so I try to always keep it relevant. So rephrase when you see that the person is throwing you off the topic and when they're just throwing you off your agenda. It works great. Now, the fourth advice that I have for you, the fourth strategy that I have for you is I need to look at my cheat sheets. You ignore it. Now, that's how ironic. I forgot the one about ignore it. So, when do I ignore situations? I ignore when the question is rude, or the question is a little irrelevant, or the question is completely off guard, completely off topic, and is asked by someone in a weird scenario. So let me give you an example, because I'm all about examples today. Let's say I come into my computer and I receive an email that says something along the lines of, "Hey blogger, would you be interested in sponsoring my blog?" Let me give you some context. I've never seen this blog before. I've never seen the name of this person before in my life. I'm not sponsoring anywhere else, so they're not even seeing my badge anywhere else. Where did this person get the idea that I was interested in sponsoring? Now, let me give you another example. If someone out of the blue, not a reader, not a friend, not a peer, not a competitor, someone that I have never seen before, sends an email along the lines of, "Where do you get your labels?" And then they don't even sign it off with their name. There's no even link to their shop, or why do they want my labels? I'll happily share my materials. And you know this is true because if you've emailed me and I know you, I share my secrets. I show you how to do things. I show you, one of my sponsors is one of my suppliers, for God's sakes. I have no issues disclosing information. But if I can tell you haven't even done your homework, you don't even read my blog, you don't even sign the email to let me know who you are, where you're coming from, what's your story, why do you want to know? I want to help you if you help me understand where you're coming from. So I use the ignore it tactic when I just know it's not worth my time and it's not worth my energy. And this is the only exception where I wouldn't respond to an email. As you probably know, in my contact form, I say that I respond to every single email I get. And I love living that way, because if you go out of your way to let me feel special, I'm going to make time for you back. unless, again, you're a rude person and you don't even give me the time of day. So use ignoring tactics when you know the person on the other line is not a good person, doesn't have good intentions, and it's just a little rude or very rude. Now, the last but not least tactic that I have for you is bounce it back. This is a great one. This is a sales tactic. This is one that actually my dad taught for me. And it is to answer with a question. So this would work perfectly for a client-mentor type relationship. So let's say I'm sent an email that says, Mayi, I love your illustrations. I've seen a blog that you did here. I saw an illustration that you did for this other person. Could you do something for me? But I'm on a budget. And then I would ask them, what's your budget? Or I would ask them, where are you coming from? What are your struggles? What are you feeling? What? I need to understand the other person. I need to listen before I can deliver a smart and educated answer. Before giving them a quote, before understanding if I can even help them, I need to pay close attention to what's their budget. Can I accommodate them? Can I make something great? So when you don't know the full picture, use bounce back a question. It works every time. I don't know what happens, but it works every time. And this is just true all across the board. The more you know about your clients, the more you know about the other person, the more you listen, the more you can give it back. You don't know how to help if you don't know what that person needs help with. So bouncing it back is a great strategy for client, coaching, designing type work. And it has worked fantastically for me. Now this is all. Of course, there might be a lot of other strategies that you're using. Please share them below. We cannot learn enough of this subject. And before you go, don't forget to sign up to my email newsletter. There's a lot of exclusive information that I'm going to start to have on there. Last week, I gave you some bloopers that I didn't share with anyone else. So if you don't want to miss out on the action that's happening on the inside, don't forget to sign up. This was Mayi Carles from Heartmade Blog, and because I promised a lot of dancing, I'm going to leave you with some booty dance. It's Friday video time. It's Friday video time. A little salsa, merengue. Yeah, it's Friday video time. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah.